Ministers legally stealing from the people. I think in Jeremiah it says that these ones that were sent by me, he says they're broken cisterns. They can't hold the water of the word. They're broken. It flows. It comes in them and it flows out of them. They're broken, right? They prophesy for gain. He says they strengthen the hands of the doers. The none does return from righteousness, back from leave wickedness and turn to righteousness. And the thing is that even in the New Testament, Peter spoke about them. He says, was it Jude said it, and Peter also said it also. He says they make merchandise for the people, and Jude said they're wandering stars, right? Interesting you use the word stars, because when Jesus says, I saw Satan fall from heaven, the Bible also says, I think in one of the old prophets, that the stars of God, okay, and he's speaking about the angels, the fallen angels. The angels are also called like stars, right? And wandering stars are basically the wander, and not the WON, the WAN, wandering in the wilderness stars. When they take hold of a person, Lucifer would love more than anything else to be able to restore back to heaven and experience, because now he's fallen. He did not grasp the level of what darkness was going to be. He never experienced it until he fell from it. So he is not only terrified, afraid, angry, I mean vicious. He's basically become mad. Okay, he's become very mad. Like, I'm talking mad as in madness. Besides being vicious, okay, and anything that reflects or looks like God or is God moving through that person, he's going to make sure he can't go to the God's throne, but he'll take it out on you, whoever you may be. Okay? And the true ministers of God, when they come into the environment, they have the very same thing that God has always done through to his real prophets. He humbled them before he sent them. The Bible says that there before honor is humility. God will honestly break every single person before he uses them in a dramatic manner, because he loves them so much and they love him so much that there will be no part dark. Jesus says, the devil comes. He comes into my environment. He's right there before me. But there's nothing inside of me. Nothing. There's no part of me that belongs to him. And a true minister of God will come to that place before God sends them. No part dark. Nothing of the devil. And one thing that when Peter said, "I'll never deny you." Oh no, I actually mixed up here. When Peter said, "Lord, no, you will never go to the cross. No, we'll fight for you." And he turned around. Jesus turned around to Peter. Okay, here was Simon before. Now he looked at me. He said, "Small rock, get behind me, Satan. For you're only mindful of the things of men, not of God." They prophesy for gain because they're mindful of the things of men. They know how to manipulate you very well to get what they want. Because if they can sell you God, okay, if they can sell God and package him correctly and with precision, they can get a nice payback, okay? And they do it very well. The whole bit about tithing, for instance, tithing was designed for the Levites. Peter said that we have all been called to be a kingdom of priests. Priests came from the Levites, which means that they're not entitled to any kind of tithe. because the tithe then belongs to every single person sitting in the congregation. If they're a child of God, they've also been called to become priests of God. So that's annulled. And when the tithes came to the storehouse, it was created, okay, also for the poor, the needy, the widowed, and them who were basically had cripples going on in the environment that God was hindered from moving in his power to heal them because the people had so much, well, they had problems that prevented God from moving powerfully. So God made amendments for it. He made amendments. The tithe was created because God believed in loving his creation. Okay? You can't, God doesn't need nothing. The Bible says, well, you think all your sacrifices and your tithes and everything is for me? He goes, I own the cattle on 1,000 hills. What can you give me that I don't own? Everything belongs to God. You can't make God any richer, but you can make the look, there's a difference where people are, Paul says about me living off the gospel. If I'm giving you spiritual stuff, he goes, I think it's okay if I can reap your material stuff. But then he goes on to say, nevertheless, I won't allow that to even hinder the gospel. I won't let that. He goes, no. I'm gonna work my own two hands. Then he goes, I don't want nothing to hinder or cause a problem with the integrity of the gospel and the integrity of my reputation. In that way, I cause you to stumble about God. See, he's very careful about all this. But nevertheless, these people come along for gain. Okay, and the greater the show, okay, the greater the show, the more magnificent the show. It means a lot of money went into it. Okay, now that money is from somebody, and a lot of these guys have tried over the decades. I've seen them. A lot of these guys, some of these guys even go as far as say, "Oh yeah, I want to be put up in this hotel," and some of them don't like the lower the lower quality accommodations they got from the congregation that invited them, and it's a whole mishmash of a lot of confusing messages going on about the special ones who think they have it, and the little ones don't. You sit in a congregation, and whilst God may be doing an amazing work on you and inside of you, they don't get credit for that. But they get credit for it because they will try their best to convince you that they are the ones responsible. And until they show up again, you're just basically stuck until they come back with the special abilities that God has given to them. The truth of the matter, a lot of them are charlatans. I should say a lot, but be careful about this. I do believe that God has a place for providing for his ministers if they're full time, they've given themselves to it. But there's a fine line. There's a fine line, and there's people who are going through stuff that these people will take. And just as Jesus said, the widow that gave her two mites, they will use that story and talk about how honorable it is that the widow gave her two mites. She gave all that she had. There are no certain terms asking you to give up everything for them. Okay? Jesus, one hand, commended her, but he didn't commend the fact that she gave up everything she had, because right after he spoke about that, he said they exploit widows' households. And they will do that. They will exploit you for everything you have. And there is tons of stories of people who've given lots of money, okay? And God never showed up for them when they really needed things to be done, and they get disappointed. Some people lose their faith. These stories happen because they were given the wrong message. You see, man can only give you so much. The rest is belongs to God. And they cannot take any kind of credibility, and they can't take any responsibility in any way, shape, or form for your salvation and what happens during and after and in the time from you passing on. And yet people have given tons of money over. The religious world flourishes in a big way. And it flourishes in a big way because they build material places that people can walk into, and they call it the church. Well, the church is not the buildings, the deeds, and all the things they're on. A lot of these people are very wealthy. Religion is a very big business. And we ourselves have to be extremely careful and wise about asking God, is it right for me to be feeding this guy who looks way better off than I do? I'm just going to end with this and saying the Bible says, do not give out of obligation. Okay? Don't give out of obligation or manipulation. Don't. If you feel anytime you're being manipulated and it shows well, and you think, oh, well, God is tugging on your heart, you need to ask twice. And if you have to give and you feel if you don't give that God's not going to bless you, that is a reason not to give. Because right there and then you're being actually controlled by fear, the wrong fear of God. Okay? So I'm just being careful about treading carefully about talking about this stuff. But wherever you're given, sometimes the best giving you can ever give, okay, is first and foremost your dedication and your heart to the Most High. And after that, the rest of it flows out naturally. Have a good day and do like and subscribe.